The vast expanse of Russia traces its historical roots back to the Eastern Slavs. These Slavic tribes inhabited the territories of present-day Ukraine, Belarus, and Western Russia. They engaged in agriculture, hunting, and trade, gradually forming loose political structures. In the 9th century, a Viking leader named Rurik established himself in Novgorod. This event is often considered the foundation of the first Russian state. Rurik's successor, Oleg, moved the capital to Kiev, strategically positioned on the Dnieper River trade route. This marked the beginning of Kievan Rus, a prosperous state that flourished through trade with the Byzantine Empire and other neighboring regions. Kievan Rus's adoption of Orthodox Christianity from Byzantium in 988 had a profound and lasting impact on Russian culture and identity. The magnificent churches and icons from this era stand as testaments to the cultural blossoming that occurred under Byzantine influence. Kievan Rus, however, was not destined to remain a unified entity. Internal divisions and external pressures led to its fragmentation into various principalities. These principalities, while sharing common cultural and historical ties, often found themselves at odds with one another. The 13th century brought a new force to the forefront of Russian history, the Mongols. Led by Batu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, the Mongol armies swept across the Eurasian steppe. They conquered Kievan Rus, subjecting its principalities to their rule. This period, known as the Mongol yoke, had a profound impact on Russian society. While the Mongol rule was harsh, imposing heavy tributes and often resorting to brutal tactics, it also had some unintended consequences. The Mongols, for instance, favored the princes of Moscow as their tax collectors, inadvertently contributing to the rise of Moscow as a new center of power. The princes of Moscow skillfully consolidated their power, expanding their territory through alliances and conquest. In 1380, Dmitry Donskoy, the Grand Prince of Moscow, achieved a significant victory against the Golden Horde, a successor state of the Mongol Empire, at the Battle of Kulikovo. This victory marked a turning point, signaling the gradual decline of Mongol influence and the ascendance of Moscow as the dominant power in the Russian lands. The end of the Mongol yoke ushered in a new era for Russia. Ivan III, the Grand Prince of Moscow, consolidated his power, declaring himself Tsar of all Rus. He liberated Russian lands from the remnants of Mongol control and laid the foundation for a centralized Russian state. Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, continued the trend of autocratic rule. He expanded Russian territory eastward, conquering the Khanates of Kazan and Astrakhan. Ivan IV's reign was also marked by a period of internal repression and brutality known as the Oprichnina. This period of terror targeted boyars, the traditional Russian nobility, further consolidating the Tsar's absolute power. However, the latter part of his reign saw military setbacks and internal turmoil. Following Ivan's death, Russia plunged into a period of chaos and instability known as the Time of Troubles. This dynastic crisis saw pretenders to the throne, foreign interventions, and widespread social unrest. The Time of Troubles came to an end in 1613 with the establishment of the Romanov dynasty. The first Romanov Tsar, Michael, brought a degree of stability back to Russia. The 20th century proved to be a period of immense upheaval and transformation for Russia. The Russo-Japanese War of 1904 to 1905 exposed the weaknesses of the Tsarist regime and led to the Revolution of 1905. While the Tsar managed to maintain his grip on power, the revolution forced him to grant some concessions, including the establishment of a parliament, the Duma. World War I, however, proved to be the final nail in the coffin of the Tsarist autocracy. The war exacerbated Russia's existing social, economic, and political problems. Discontent with the Tsarist government reached a boiling point, culminating in the February Revolution of 1917. The Tsar was forced to abdicate and a provisional government was established. The provisional government, however, proved unable to address the pressing issues facing Russia, particularly the ongoing war. This failure created a power vacuum that the Bolsheviks, a radical socialist party led by Vladimir Lenin, were able to exploit. In October 1917, November according to the Western calendar, the Bolsheviks seized power in a coup d'état, marking the beginning of the Soviet era.